Good evening, you guys. This is glad to have you here if you're watching. Um, if you don't know or you haven't watched anything else, I'm doing a series of paintings uh, of my late husband and I, inspired by a dream that I had when he first received his cancer diagnosis. It brought me back to when we were first together, and we're just sort of roaming around town, hanging out. And at this point in time, this image is us. We've made our way to the beach, and we're just hanging out, drinking beers and smoking cigarettes. Both, although my voice is going right now, I quit smoking cigarettes almost 17 years ago now, and my husband did too. But at the time when we were first together, we were very avid smokers. We smoked a ton. It was just who we were, and it was also a different world. I mean, that was back when you could still smoke in restaurants and have your nice smoking section right next to your non-smoking section. But that was just part of who we were, hanging out and doing our thing and having a good time. Like I said, excuse my voice. It's extra scratchy just because I'm getting over a cold, or still have the cold. And it seems to want to take away my voice, which is unfortunate. But I'm going to still talk. As I said, I'm going to do this daily painting every day. So I do the talking videos, so while the painting's going on, if anybody has questions, please feel free to put it in the comments. I will answer you. I taught for painting for a long time, and I'm trying to use my painting to sort of deal with the grief and the loss of my husband, who I lost Easter this past spring. And then 2 months after that, I lost my mom. So I'm just trying to keep a grip on the world right now. And it's not always easy. It's not that I greatly appreciate the blessings that I have in my life. I do. That doesn't mean that I don't have a breakdown every day. I hold it together. I have things to do and I have to function. But I've never dealt with this sort of thing before, and it's had a huge impact on me, and I want to come out of it a better me. So it makes you reevaluate things and makes you more willing to just go in there and do things and not worry about, just jump in. Because first of all, time is precious and it's just going to disappear. I'm already 55 and, there's been a lot of longevity. Excuse me, I'm going to cough some pauses. Okay, sorry about that. I'm just, I hope I don't lose my voice here while I'm talking to you. But my mom, she was 86, almost 87. And her mom was even older than that. And her, there was a lot of longevity on her side of the family. She passed away early comparatively. But there was, circumstances. There's always circumstances. We all get hit by a bus. She was not hit by a bus, but definitely was not. You feel that it didn't have to go that way, but unfortunately, we lost her. She was a great woman. I was lucky to have her. But between the loss of them, I just trying to figure it all out. It makes you just reevaluate everywhere you're coming from. And I'm the only one that can, change me, so I have to jump in there and make it happen. And I'm the only one that's going to be able to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm doing these paintings, these daily paintings. Right now, they're the ones inspired by the dream I had. But they could change as it goes. I'm not going to put that kind of limits on me. The only thing I do tell myself is go in there, paint for at least 5 minutes a day. The shortest I've painted on these little things is 15 minutes. Most times it's at least a half hour that I've painted. Actually, I just did a session tonight. It's the video that I'll put out tomorrow, though, because I have to do the voiceover. But that one was almost 2 hours. Sometimes when you get into painting, you just get in that zone and you just don't even realize how much time has gone by. I was shocked when I stopped and looked at the time. But that's what's the beauty of it. And that's what I wanted to do. I want to use it therapeutically, but also to be more productive. Painting always sort of helps me recenter myself, and it allows me to sort of get out of that part of my head where I'm just fixated on sadness, I guess, or just anything that I'm not prepared to deal with at the moment. And it sort of grounds me. So these are real loose paintings. Gosh, my voice is just killing me. These are real loose paintings. I work with acrylic paint. It dries really fast, so that is helpful, considering at some point in time you'll probably see a bunch of kittens, or at least some. I have 3 little ones running around my studio, and they are rambunctious for sure. They were a little blessing sent to us by the little cat gods, and the universe knows, man. They're just like, these people need cats. Get those cats over there. And I did. I needed those little guys. I could sit there and hold them, and they sit there and purr, and it just takes away a lot. Calms a lot, having those little guys around. So that is definitely a blessing that I've been handed, having them. That little guy to the side right there is sorry, it's hard to tell. That, I believe, was little girl. She's tabby with white patches on her. She's a cutie. She's like so much smaller than the other two. But they were all started out as homeless kitties. And one of them came up to my daughter in the driveway, and then we saw the others, and we found a home for one, but the other 3 are ours, because we suckers. We love those kitties. Sorry, I'm having so much time in my voice there. I just took some cough syrup, so hopefully that'll help out a little bit. And but I'm gonna power through because this is important for me. Part of it, uh, not just part, a huge part of it is discipline. If I make myself do this every day, like I said, not only am I going to be more productive and get stuff done, but it's a retraining my way of being. I always have trouble, finishing projects. And particularly projects that are personal projects. I'll do commissions when I teach and do all that kind of stuff. But it's easy to sit there and put your own well-being, your own projects aside and just go, that's not important. And that's what I'm changing right now is I'm prioritizing so many things. Like this stream, I actually, even though my husband is gone now, when I had it, he was still here. It was right after we had just received his cancer diagnosis. And I had the stream and it hit me. It was beautiful and it was just made me cherish everything about him and I and the time that we had. And I got, 3 more years at that point in time, and I'm very lucky. But I'm sure, there's a lot of us out there that have had to take care of someone that's sick or dying, and you know how it takes over your life. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We knew there was a good chance that we had limited time. And, it was a slim chance that he was going to get past the diagnosis that he had because of the extent of the cancer. But he fought to the bitter end. He truly did. And I appreciate every minute, every second that we got to spend together and that our family did. That's the most important thing, was us just being together. That really always was for him and I. We prioritize each other a lot, and we were definitely each other's person. If we were working or we had to go out and do things, because we have daughters, so sometimes you have to go out and do things with them, or your whatever, just life, your friends and doing things. But most of our priority was just to be with each other. At the studio I worked at, a lot of people like to go out and hang out and go to bars and stuff like that, and I just had no interest. First thing I wanted to do when class was over was to go back to my man and hang out with him. He was my priority. My family was my priority. And even though he's gone, he is still my priority in a lot of ways. But our family is my priority for sure. When it comes to him, I can't even begin to dive into that pool. I talk to him all the time. I have not heard him talk back to me. But, you hope that he's listening to me. Or I hope that he's listening to me. And there's some times where I'm like so sure that he's right there. He's right by my side. And watching over us. when he was in hospice, you know, he did a lot of the very typical things where he saw people that already passed. And those things, to me, they give me comfort. Because it makes me feel like, I'm sure a lot of people could sit there and explain it scientifically away, but sometimes I think there's more to it than you could explain with that, you know? Because it was just, there's just too many things that have happened in my life that simply aren't easily answered, or by saying it's all ends just when we end. I feel he's out there, and I feel I'm going to see him again one day. Because we just were meant to be together. And now just, you know, spend my time growing and hanging with our grandbabies and our daughters and moving forward. Become a better me. And that'll take time. I know it's not going to happen overnight. I know healing, you know, doesn't just happen instantaneously. It's a process. And I'm doing the best I can. But you can always, you know, push yourself to do better, and so that's what I'm trying to do in the painting and other things. Pushing myself to get it done. Of course, I'm good at avoiding certain things too. There's a bunch of stuff I still gotta work with, some paperwork and stuff that I gotta deal with to do with his death, and I can't face it. I keep pushing it aside, man. We did a celebration of life for him, and that threw me for a loop, and I didn't, you know, I got through it, and his mom came, which I was surprised. She's dealing with dementia, and I wasn't sure if she was going to be there, and just so many things. And you know, I when it comes to my emotions at the moment, sometimes I've always been someone who could cry easily. My daughters always joke about how I cry at Publix commercials. And there was this Windex commercial that they used to be on too, that I always just cry. It was almost like a movie, man. It was, you know, the whole story about this, you know, baby being born, and just until the baby was grown up and getting married and all that kind of stuff, and took you through the whole thing. And it was a tearjerker. It was so sweet. And it's the same thing with those Publix commercials. Give me a nice Thanksgiving Publix commercial, and it just warms the cockles of my heart. And most of my tears are just because I feel such amazing love. That makes me cry more than anything. You know, it's because I sit there and I, you know, can remember things about my husband Vince, and it was so many beautiful, wonderful things, and it just overwhelms me sometimes. And so, but I'll work it out. It hasn't taken me down yet, and I don't plan on letting it. I'll just keep on doing these things, and moving forward. Because if we only do have this one life, then you better take advantage of it. Smell those roses, take that trip, be the person that you want to be. If you want to take that class, take that class. You want to talk to that person, go talk to that person. It is not, you got to allow yourself to make mistakes, okay? That's part of our problem. We're always waiting for that perfect time or that perfect thing or that just for the universe to align so that we can, make it happen. But that just isn't how it works. Nope. A lot of it's the momentum of ourselves. A huge chunk of it is us making it happen. Because there are plenty of awesome people out there, okay? If your goal is to, whatever it is, if you have a goal to paint paintings like I do, or write music, or dance, or be an electrician, okay? Well, only you can make those things happen. It's not going to suddenly someone's going to come in and go, here, now you can paint. You have to put those hours in. You have to, the only reason I can paint at all is because I loved it so much, so that made it easy. If I didn't love it so much, then it would have been more of a struggle. But even the fact that I loved it, the struggle, is still there. You're constantly, I could do better. But I have gotten better about that as well. So it's a process, I realize that. There's a couple tricks you can do if drawing's your thing, okay? If music's your thing, I love music. I listen to music all the time. But if you want me to play music, it's not my forte. Although I feel like I should learn an instrument because it's supposed to help against dementia. Whatever you can do to make that stop. But when it comes to art, a couple things, little tricks. If you're painting and you're sitting there, and one of the most common things is when you're sitting there looking at your picture, it is hard to look at it objectively, okay? And your body, your mind, sits there and has trouble looking at it as a whole picture, okay? And I know your logical side can sit there and go, oh, that's a picture, right? But it's hard for it to sort of step back and look at it and say, is that good or bad? So one of the tricks you can do is to take a photo of your picture, okay? Because your brain can look at a photo of your picture in a different light, okay? And it will allow you to sit there and look at it and either go, oh wow, that's a lot better than I realized it was, or it will, don't put filters on it obviously or whatever, just take a regular photo, with your phone, but and look at it, and I can't tell you how often in class I would have the people do that. Just go take a photo, and they had a totally different view of their work after they did that, or it made them, able to sort of move on because they couldn't see it for what it was right in front of them. It'll also allow you to look at it clearer so you can see what really truly needs to be done. Okay? So it's not going to just like gloss over everything by you taking the photo, but it'll allow you to see it for what it is. It's a crazy thing. You trick your brain, you know, even though you're doing it right in front of it. And the other thing that happens, sort of get that where your brain can see this whole thing is time. Right? If you just give yourself time, even the next day you look at it, you're going to like your painting better. I almost guarantee it. Once I had a woman in a class that when she left, she was not happy with her picture. She was like, for sure, she was never coming back. And when she went home, she stuck it in between her washer and her dryer. And she didn't want anybody to see it. And about 6 months later, she was doing a spring cleaning, and the painting came out. She pulled it out and she looked at it, and she hadn't looked at it since she had done the class, months. And when she looked at it, she was like, why was I so upset? And she was impressed with her work. So, and at that day, after she saw that, she made a reservation for another class, which she thought she would never do again. So that's just, it was amazing how just give it time, because we're not looking at photographs here. Painting is a funny thing. And yeah, you could do super realistic paintings. It's out there, and you could do that. But most of the time, you're dealing with a bunch of brushstrokes that are sort of mimicking the world around us. And it's a funny thing, because we look at things, and when we try to draw them or get them, we think of them in their realistic state, right? You can close your eyes and think of an eyeball or an apple or anything like that, and you go, okay, well, I'll draw an apple. And you can draw an apple, and you go, well, it's sort of a rounded shape, and it has a stem, and depending on who you are, you'll add more and more detail to what that is. But if you were going to make up how to draw an apple, most people come up with a general idea of what an apple would look like enough that they could, come up with something. And that sometimes can be the problem, because if you look at real things, real items, it's a different world. It's not, it's images between light and dark, your shadows and your lights and your in-betweens. And each one of those things is almost like a puzzle piece, right? If you were going to look at a picture and cut it out by the different colors that you see, the little groupings of the colors, and you paint it, just those little sections like that, you'd be amazed how realistic it looked. And you're thinking, that's impossible. That's a big old swatch of just blue right there. And and people are also really afraid to get in there and do their really darks and their really lights. But no matter what, the best thing to do is to just keep painting, and have fun with it. Play around with it. I said it before, just, get yourself a sketchbook and sketch in it, but you don't have to show anybody what it is. Just sort of go for it, and have a good time, and play around. And, sometimes the drawings, you might think are ugly. And like I said, later on, you might look back and go, oh, that's not ugly. But that doesn't matter, okay? Everybody has things that are not as good as the other. And I have my good days and my bad days. And just know that, first of all, it's not who cares? It's not a permanent state. And painting, so forgiving, man. So forgiving. You can go right over top and you can fix it. You can change the world and your little world on that paper or that canvas, and or whatever you're painting on. Because believe me, it's out there. I painted on all tons of stuff. So don't be afraid to just sort of dive in there and have fun with it, because that's what it should be. It's a great way to sort of go and just let go. I think that more people could benefit by sort of finding something that doesn't have to be painting. Some people, like I said, it could be music or dancing or poetry, writing in a journal. All these things are good things for you that can have a positive impact on your life. And I'm just trying to embrace a lot of those things that I want to do, and things that I go, oh, I want to get to that, and I'm doing a lot less do this later, and I'm doing a lot more, okay, let's just do this. I need this, let's go deal with this now. And I'm happy. I'm happy that I've been able to sort of get myself to do that. And I still, have a long way to go, but there have been a lot of positives too. I have a lot of awesome people around me to help me out, and I know it's only so much they can do, because everybody has their own personal grief, but knowing I have the love that I have around me definitely makes it easier for me. Because if I didn't have it, if I didn't have these people around me to love, you never know. It carries you through, having people to love and having people love you. I'm getting here to the end of this first part of this painting. And I will do this in 2 stages. So this is the first one. I'll put this on tonight, and then I'll get the other second part out tomorrow. I painted it tonight, but I can do the video tomorrow and get that out. And when that is out, at that point in time, then I'll put the whole thing together so that you can see the whole thing and speed it up and do a little bit longer video. Not, I'll speed it up so that part won't be longer, but I'll do the 2 parts together, from beginning to end, and sort of zoom that, and then I will do a short as well, so that'll be like a minute and a half, which, so if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you could always go watch the little minute and a half too, to see how the whole thing turns out. But I know, I watch people painting all the time, so hopefully someone can get something out of watching what I'm doing. And I'm working out my quirks, okay? I'm not waiting to the perfect thing. That was little girl. They like to wander around me. But I will, I hope that I will get better with time. That's the goal, is to move forward and get better at doing these videos and getting more and more artwork out there and done. Because I feel driven to make it happen. And so if you're struggling to get something done, do little micro steps, okay? Doesn't have to be the whole world. Do a little thing, like if you want to do writing, don't think in your head, I gotta write a whole novel, okay? It's so easy. I can't tell you. I sit there and go, oh, I could have that whole thing done. Just say, I will write for 5 minutes today. And then go write for 5 minutes. And I bet you sometimes you're going to write a lot longer than 5 minutes. But if you can get yourself to get in there, sometimes it's just the starting. It's that transition from not doing it to doing it. That's the hardest step. And I hope that you can find your way to make what you want to do happen, because you have it in you. Human beings are amazing things. We are driven people. We like to get better. We want to do new things, and that is beautiful. We accomplish so much, and we have just amazing things in this world, and we should be proud of that. It seems like a lot of times we concentrate on the negative, but there are just some awesome, amazing things that mankind has brought into this world. And then put that with nature on top of it, and this world is awesome. It's just beautiful and awesome. I can't stress that enough. It's a magical place. And it's our playground to get in there and get things done, man. So that we can make our own dreams, come true. Those kittens are rambunctious. When I was painting today, sometimes I feel like I should film the back of my head, which you wouldn't be able to see, because those cats are jumping all over me, climbing on my head, climbing on my shoulder, jumping off while I'm sitting there painting. They're just crazy little guys. They're definitely a distraction. But I think in a positive way. But the good thing is I work with acrylic. It dries pretty fast, especially on the paper, and I'm not using heaps of paint on this. If it was a canvas, a lot of times you use a little bit more paint, and that would take a little longer. But still, with the beauty of acrylic, to me, I love that it dries pretty fast. It allows me to mend mistakes and just work at a quicker pace than acrylics have come a long way over the years, and they were really the paint that I've always used. I've tried oils, but I like acrylics. You can pull out water. You don't have to deal with, they're just fairly straightforward. And they used to have issues with their coloring and stuff like that years ago. They were a lot of brassy colors, but it's amazing what technology has done. The vibrant and the extent of all the colors that are out there is beautiful, and I just love the things that we have available to us. That would have, one point in time when I was starting painting, were a lot harder to find some of this stuff, and I know everything's expensive right now, but even more expensive because you couldn't find some of that stuff at Main Street, main storefronts and stuff. But anyway, I hope you have a great night.